My name is Audrey. My capstone is on meteorology. Meteorology is the study of the atmosphere that focuses on weather and weather predicting. I have done a lot of research on this topic and I've learned a lot through the process. My main inquiry question is, how has meteorology evolved? What have been the most important advances in predicting the weather, and what further improvements are expected for predicting the weather? Meteorologists use a lot of tools to predict the weather. Some tools they launch into the atmosphere, and some tools they keep down on Earth. Each tool helps predict the weather, but in a different way. A weather balloon is a tool that is sent up into the atmosphere. The weather balloon collects data on atmospheric pressure, temperature, humidity, and wind speed. There is a tiny device attached to the end of the balloon string. It's called a radiosonde. The radiosonde collects all the data and sends it back to the meteorologists. Meteorologists launch weather balloons twice a day by blowing them up and letting them float into the atmosphere. Here is a video of a weather balloon launch. Fill the balloon with helium. They blow it until it's 6 feet in diameter. But when the balloon bursts, it's by 20 feet. I don't know if you can see it, but that dot right there is the radiosonde. As you can see, weather balloons are basically like regular balloons on Earth, but when they're sent into the atmosphere, they do a lot more. Weather satellites are also sent up into the atmosphere to monitor temperature and cloud systems. That includes climate change and storms. Here's a picture of a weather satellite, and here's a picture that a weather satellite took of a hurricane. Thermometers and barometers are two tools that we use down on Earth. A thermometer helps measure air temperature, and a barometer helps measure air pressure. High pressure means it'd be a nice day out, like today, and low pressure means it'd be cloudy and rainy. The Doppler effect is the increase or decrease in the frequency of sound waves as the source of the waves and the observer move toward or away from each other. A good example of the Doppler effect is, let's say you're standing in the middle of the road and a car drives past you really quickly, honking at you. The honk will be at a higher pitch when it comes towards you because the sound waves will crunch up and come more frequently. But when the car passes you, the honk will be at a lower pitch because the sound waves will be coming less frequently. This is how the Doppler effect is used in weather. The radar tower sends out sound waves. Depending on how the sound waves are reflected back, the meteorologist can determine how dense clouds are and which direction they're moving in. That's really important because they can tell people how strong a storm may be and which direction it's moving in. There have been many advances in predicting the weather. Each advancement has changed weather predicting a lot. One advancement is how meteorologists present the weather. Back then, meteorologists stand in front of a board that has arrows drawn on it. Now, meteorologists stand in front of a green screen. Here's a video of how they presented the weather about 50 years ago.
So it'll now, the wind's coming more from the south. Now it'll have two effects.
As you can see, he's just standing in front of a board.
Now your live Super Duper 4HD weather forecast.
Hello there, I'm Pamela Wright. Thanks for checking in on your Wednesday. Things warming up nicely today, especially for the upstate northeast Georgia, where we'll go from these 50s into the low 60s today. Winds a little bit stronger and out of the northwest in western North Carolina, so it will be a beautiful day, but your temperatures will be held down a bit. Here's the way the numbers will go in Greenville.
As you can see, the screen changes and things slide onto the screen. Another advancement is the increase of accuracy for the weather forecast. For example, in 1988, their one-day forecast was accurate. But now, our two-day forecast is just as accurate. Back then, it was hard to forecast in close places. For example, if they were forecasting in Fort Worth, Texas, and Dallas, Texas, they would only be able to say it'll rain in Fort Worth and Dallas. But now we can say that it'll rain in Fort Worth at 3 o'clock and Dallas at 4 o'clock. Meteorologists are constantly making improvements. Even now, they are still making improvements. Meteorologists have just sent up a new satellite called CloudSat. CloudSat will help predict the weather because it will study the different aspects of clouds. Another satellite that meteorologists have just sent up is called CloudSat. CloudSat will help predict the weather because it will study why aerosols and particles affect the world's atmosphere. Now it's time for a weather forecast. Here is your 7-day forecast. On Thursday, get your umbrellas and rain boots out. Looks like it's going to be storms. But luckily on Friday, the storms seem to be clearing up. But on Saturday, more rain seems to be coming our way. Next week looks like a beautiful week next week. The sun's out and highs in the 60s. Here we have our national weather map with Wednesday's forecast, showing high temperatures across the south and spreading east. With a high of 93 in San Antonio, cooler temperatures across the Rocky Mountains and up in the northwest. Temperatures will be rising on Thursday, with possible record breaker of 111 in Phoenix and highs in the mid-90s in the northeast. Looking good heading into the weekend, with temperatures cooling to more comfortable levels across the country with sunny skies overall, with some chance of rain in the northwest. Thank you for coming. I hope you learned a lot about weather forecasting, and if you want to learn more, you can check out my blog.